Hi, everyone. Oh my God. Thank you so much for showing up. I always appreciate that. And happy Wednesday, what we used to call hump day, but I'm not really sure if that's actually, I'm scared to say anything anymore for the fact that I might offend somebody. The idea that we're offending people now because they don't like our way of being. What's happening? Help me. Can you all help me? Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I see you coming in now. So I'm, hold on. So today we're going to have a great conversation. I'm super excited to have this because I think I've hit a ceiling on some level of trying to maintain my sort of composure, if that makes sense. Hey, everybody, nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a great day so far. It's noon here in Los Angeles, and I know I get lots of people from all over the place, so that's always exciting. And I always appreciate you showing up and having the conversation. And I think last week I I spoke to you all about I was invited to speak. Hey, friend. I was invited to speak at a panel in New York City, and it was supposed to be a diverse and inclusive panel. And then I somehow got uninvited. I just think it's hilarious. I got uninvited to the panel. I think I was talking to you all about that. I was going to write something about it. And, is the right word or term, I'm going to expose them. That sounds nasty. I don't think I'm doing it from a space of exposing them. I think I'm doing it from a space of I want to show you the hypocrisy of this so-called loving and diverse and inclusive community, which it is not in any way, shape, or form. When somebody says that they're not comfortable with my social media and that I should not speak on a panel that has to do with trans history, how is that inclusive? I would really love to know how that's inclusive. It's not inclusive. So here we are again. Hey, Jen, nice to see you, friend. Um, here we are again. Here we are again. I do not believe we are moving forward. I believe Wales, right on. Wales is in the house. I would love to visit Wales one day. So how are we in this position, friends? How are we in a position to call anything inclusive? Because I don't, and I never have believed that there's a thing such as inclusivity. I do not believe that. I don't think you can make everything inclusive. You can't. And it's actually not fair to certain groups of people. And I will use my favorite example of women. I will use that example. Not everyone belongs in a female space. They don't. They do not. And that's my opinion. As somebody who is a biological female, and I did live my life as a biological female for many years. And I remember having female space, especially for me as a gay woman, and especially for me as a butch gay woman, was extremely important to me. And why, you ask? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it was uncomfortable for me at that time to be around men. I didn't want to be around men. Maybe I felt threatened. Maybe I felt threatened by men. Maybe I had envy of men. Maybe I didn't want men flirting with my girlfriends. Maybe I had some insecurity. Whatever it was, it's my it's my sort of right to not want to be in a space with men. And I believe on some level every person has the right to create spaces for themselves. And I'm very upset at this idea that anyone who identifies as a woman can now enter a female space. I do not agree with that. And that makes me transphobic on some level. I don't know why, because I'm not transphobic and I'm being honest. But somehow we're not allowed to be honest anymore. And somehow they would much rather us, me, people who have the same opinion as me, to just not say it. But do you know how dangerous it is to stop people from saying things because they hurt your feelings, or to stop people from saying things because they don't agree with you? Guess what happens when you do that? They find spaces to say these things in secret. And they find spaces to say these things against you because you're not having the conversation. Once you create that environment, that's a very scary space, because then hate starts. Hate towards other people because you're not being inclusive. So I'm just telling you that I do not believe that inclusivity actually exists. You can say we want everyone in the community, and hence, why do you think today we have, it is on some level communism? It's weird. Why do you think we now have today? Look, LGBTQIA 2 plus what am I missing? 2 plus, what am I missing? I'm missing something. There's more. Every week they add something on because they're trying to make inclusivity a thing with the LGBT community. And look what it's done to, hey, Netherlands, look what it's done to our community. Our community should not have all of those things attached to it. It should be 20, hi, Marnix, it should be LGBT. That's all it should be, LGBT. Because QIA plus PP poo poo does not coexist with LGBT. It doesn't. They have a different way of being. They don't want the same things you and I want. They want to dominate that. So I personally believe when you start adding so many people to be inclusive, you are making something uninclusive. Because what happens is this: somebody says they don't like my voice in the inclusive community. Somebody says, look at Buck Angel's social media. He should not be speaking here. So what does my social media have to do with sitting on a panel and having a debate and a conversation about trans history? What does my social media have to do with that? Alicia says, I'm 23 and have a regret of not transitioning 2 years. No, Alicia. No. There's no rush to transition. That's a false reality right there. You have to live in the moment, Alicia. Live in the moment. And all of us can say, I wish I did X, Y, and Z 20 years ago. We can all say that, but you didn't. And you also don't know how your life would actually be if you did transition. One thing you do know is how your life is today since you did transition. That's where you're not living right now for the moment. Why are you looking that way and saying, I wished I would have done it before? No, you're not looking at, I'm telling you, you're not looking at it right. You're not. You're looking at it as, I wished I'd done, but you don't know. But I'm glad I didn't really. Well, yeah, but the thing is this, people, listen, I know that this is where my old man stuff is going to come in. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've lived a long 61 years of life, and I've learned a lot in my 61 years of life, and especially as a transsexual person. What I'm going to say to you is this: no regrets. None. Even if you did bad things, I did many bad things. Okay. I don't regret it. Those bad things helped me become a good person. I wished I probably didn't do it, but I did. I did them and I accept them. And I didn't transition until the age of 30, which is awesome. I'm so happy. Want to know why I'm happy I didn't transition until 30? Because I never looked back, because I lived a life before transition to make sure that I was making the right choice. You have to live life to be able to find what are the pros and cons. Where am I going? Maybe I want to change my career in 5 years. You might be studying one thing now, and then in 5 years, you might go, oh, I decided I want to be a lawyer and not a doctor. That's not a bad thing either. It's called growth. I really want you out there to hear me. There is no rush in transitioning. That's a huge mistake. Huge. Because that's with anything. If you bam and rush into something, you're bound to make a mistake. You can't rush. Do you rush in writing a paper? Do you rush in washing your car? Do you rush? No. And you know damn well when you do rush, you make a mistake. It's when you're rushing and cutting up food, cut your finger because you're not focused. You're not focused. Yeah, Cecilia says regrets mean you recognize your wrongdoing and know the lessons from it. Lessons, people, lessons. Life is all about lessons. And there's sometimes horrible, horrible lessons. Oh my God. I can tell you times I was arrested. I don't know if you want to get into that, but times I was arrested. Oh my God. It's so scary. Let me tell you. And I learned from being arrested, which is what you're supposed to do. You're actually supposed to learn when you go to jail. You're supposed to learn that you never want to go back to jail ever. And I did. I actually learned from that. I never want to go back to jail ever again. That's right. Thanks, Marianne. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much, friend. Yeah, you got to see both sides of the fence. In order to build something, in order to create something, you've got to sit with yourself and you have to envision it and you have to have a plan. Do you think people just build houses? No, they get an architect. They understand how important foundation is. They understand, like, I can change it while I'm building it. I mean, I look at myself as, on some level, a house. And it took me a long time to build this house. But my house is solid. It is not going anywhere. It stands against all of the wind and the push and the rain and the storms and the insanity that people push against me, because I took my time and I didn't rush in my transition. And, you know, let me tell you this as well from an old fart. It seems like it's taking a long time. It seems that way, but in reality, it's not. And you have to enjoy the ride. You have to enjoy the ride to get to that space of confidence, of clarity, of knowing that what you're doing is the right thing. It takes a long ride. And sometimes that ride hits potholes. Sometimes that ride skids off the road. Sometimes you're having an awesome ride and then you run into a wall. There's you think you're the only person that's happening to? Every single person in the world has that same journey. It's all a matter of how you take that journey on. And if you're taking the transition journey on with anger in your heart and you're mad at the rest of the world because they don't conform to what you think they need to do, or because they're not using your pronouns, or because they don't see you as a man because your physical appearance looks like a woman, it's inside of you. It's not them. Why are you blaming other people? Why are you blaming other people for misgendering you? That's a real question. Oh, thank you, Marnix. You know, here's Marnix. Marnix is now a good friend of mine, and he's a young trans man, and he is awesome. And if you haven't seen his interview with me, please do watch it. And he's very intelligent and he's going somewhere. And the reason why I really connected to Marnix is because Marnix and I do think a lot alike, and he understands the journey and the struggle to find yourself as a trans person. It's a struggle. You think it's not ever going to be a struggle? You're kidding yourself. I don't understand this idea that transitioning from a female to a male or a male to a female is not going to be difficult. It is so difficult. And who's ever telling you it's not is lying to you. Is lying to you. Hi, Amanda. How you doing, friend? Amanda says, as a 53-year-old transsexual woman who started my transition at 48. Yeah, you did, which is totally amazing. At 48, I'm so grateful that I waited. That's right. We need more older people saying that. It's important. Hey, Seth. Seth's here. If you guys need anything, just reach out to Seth. Please explain why nobody tells the young kids puberty is uncomfortable and miserable and nobody likes their body. You know, Chris, I'm not sure why we're lying to young people about puberty, and I'm not sure why we're lying to young people about changing their sex. No young person, nobody can change their sex. We know that. We've established that. I think everyone here today is pretty on board with biology, and you can't change your biology. But we're telling young people, we're actually telling, and hence why I named today indoctrinated into stupidity. Some of the stuff that's coming out of people's mouths in regards to what it means to be a trans person is insane. It's insane. And it's literally mumbo jumbo, and it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's a good question, bro. Why does the West want to sterilize a whole generation? That's a great question. Why do you want? So here, this is a great thing. Thanks, Pen and Dice. I appreciate you noticing that. So disappointing. You only have 100 people watching. YouTube has totally shadow banned you. Yep, it's true. I am shadow banned, or I think I am. I don't know if we actually know I am, but you're right. I don't, and you should see the views on my videos. They're down. Seth is here in the house. We're trying to figure it out. If anybody knows anything about being shadow banned on YouTube, I'd appreciate you reaching out to me. But it's 100% true, Pin. I appreciate you acknowledging that. And it's true. There's just no doubt about it. You can watch my feed. You can watch everything. It's just, I don't understand either. But we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. Seth and I will figure it out. And eventually I think it won't be, but I am. So that's why I'm asking you all, because here, let me go back to this. That's why I'm asking all of you to share my videos and to really get people to subscribe to my channel, because we're trying to test this out. If my voice is being sort of pushed down because of the things I'm saying, and partly I do think that's true. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong on here. Maybe I'm not following the rules. Maybe I'm doing, but as far as I know, I'm following the rules. So I don't know what other rules to do. So let's get back to but thank you, Pin and Dice. I do appreciate you saying that and noticing. It's very bizarre. But I think also that people aren't getting the notification. So tell me how I'm going to get rid of all the body hair. Alicia. Okay, so here, I'm going to bring Alicia up here. Hold on. So Alicia is a trans woman, and I think they're very young. How old are you again? And you said that you regretted not transitioning earlier, and that now I'm kind of thinking that you're talking about puberty blockers. So let me answer this first question for you, Alicia. Hey, Buck, tell me how I'm going to get rid of all this body hair. Well, just like every other trans woman that I know, it's called electrolysis, and it works really well. And if you see a lot of, oh, you're 23. Okay, great. And if you see a lot of young and older trans women, they've all gone through electrolysis and they look amazing. So you might have to suffer a little bit with some of the more vanity things, such as removing your hair on your wherever you need to remove it. That's a thing that you have to deal with as a transsexual. And that's the reality of it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you were saved by not taking puberty blockers. You were saved. Because there will be more things, more insane things that you would have to deal with. Okay? Listen to me right now, Alicia. More insane things, like your health, like your bone health, like your mental health, like your eyeball health, like your ears, like the growth of so many things inside of your body, that some of those things cannot be repaired. So if I was you, I honestly would not be worried about the hair, because that can be taken off. If I was you, I would be happy that I didn't transition at 10 and that I didn't take puberty blockers, because I'm going to tell you right now, you might think you wished you had it, but the more and more of these stories that come out of young people who did take puberty blockers, you will see how lucky you are. How lucky you are. Yeah, you can shave, you can use Nair, you can use so many things. That's the least of your worries, my friend. The least of your worries is the hair. Because just so you know, there's some guys or girls, whatever your preference is, that actually like hairy women. I do. I just spilled the beans. I do. I actually like hairy women. I know. I don't know if it's a fetish or what, but you know, I mean, gosh, my partner would be so mad at me if I said what I was about to say. I better not say it. I'll use a different example. But here's what I'm going to say. You'd be surprised how people have all kinds of different likes and dislikes. Just because you have hair on your body doesn't mean people aren't going to like you, or maybe even you don't like yourself because you have expectations of what it means to look like a woman, right? So as you all know, I don't have the surgery down there. You all know that. It's pretty out there. I don't have it. I don't want it. I chose not to do it, but I have something down here that I was born with that is biologically female. And I wished early on in my transition that I didn't have this. I hated it. I couldn't even look at it. I was like, ah, it's like completely freaking me out. I'm not a dude. I have this. And it was horrifying. But as I grew in my transition and I started to realize this is a reality, everyone, and this is for everyone out there. It's not just a trans thing. Some things you can change and some things you can't. Some things you can't change. So are you going to actually be so angry at the world and so angry at yourself because you can't change it? No, you're not. You're going to accept it. Because by accepting things you cannot change, you have the courage to move forward. Because that thing you cannot change will keep you suspended and will not allow you to move forward, because all you're thinking about is this thing that you think is not making you who you need to be, whatever that is. Whatever that is. I'm telling you, that message should resonate with all of you. Everyone doesn't like something about themselves. We know that. Everyone hates their nose or their ears or their hair or their body or whatever it is. I pretty much think everyone has something they dislike about themselves, their hands, their feet. They wish they could change it. But sometimes you can't change it. So what do? You accept it. You accept it. I accepted it. I ended up making a career out of it. That's how much I accepted it. I made a full-on career out of my genitals. And I moved forward. And people hated me. And people said so many nasty things to me. They still do today. But that being said, what did I do with the hate? I turned it into a positive. And I said, just spell my name right. That's all I care about. As long as my name is on your lips, make sure you spell my name right so people can find me. And by doing that and not getting mad at people for saying nasty things to me, I moved forward in the world. I'm 57. I'll never be 27 again. And do you want to be, Cecilia? I don't. I'll tell you what, I love being 60. I love it. I eat it up. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. I love it. It's so important. So here's a transsexual woman, 58-year-old transsexual woman. Right on, friend. Figured it out at 29, right around the same time I did. Waited until I was 53 to pursue the transition, to be certain there were periods of difficulty all along. No regret. Beautiful. Beautiful. I so appreciate you sharing that with us, Chloe. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. That's what young trans person like Alicia needs to hear. Don't regret it. There's nothing to regret. There seriously isn't. And this idea that you can transition as a child is absurd. How many people in this room know A person under the age of 18 who has transitioned. How many? And if you do know that, how many of the people that you know transitioned took puberty blockers? I'd love to know that. I know quite a few young people who transitioned. Some are totally chill and cool with it. I know a guy who transitioned at 15. He's now 20. He seems super cool. I actually know a young person who took puberty blockers at the age of 5 and now is in high school and seems to be doing great from the last time I spoke to them. So I don't judge anyone. Okay, yeah, no judging. Regret comes from, yeah, don't know any. Unfortunately, 3. Wow. Not under 18, under 30. Yeah. 30 is okay. I don't care. Oh, good night, friend. Thanks for joining us. 55. Why? I'll tell you why in a minute, Marnix. It's a friend of a friend. Okay, so within these people that you all know who might have been younger, like 18 or under, do you know any of them that have regretted it? Or do you know any of them that wish they did it earlier or later? So I think I know 4, I'm thinking 5 young people who took puberty blockers and are now having health problems. All 5 of them. Some are detransitioning, some aren't. So I have actual experience. I'm not just saying this because it's what I think. I have actual experience with actual live, real human people who took puberty blockers, and it has affected their actual health. Some of them are sick, like they just don't feel good. Some of them have already broken bones. Some of them regret taking the puberty blockers because they feel as if they were told to do it when they feel like if they were given another option, they wouldn't have done it. So the other thing is that, are we being honest with young people? That's right. It's used to chemically castrate. That's exactly right. If nobody knows what Lupron is, just do a Google search right here. Just look up Lupron. It's the devil. Lupron, and they use another one as well, I don't know the name of it, is the devil. This is what they're giving young people and calling it safe and reversible. Let me just remind all of you here, it is actually impossible to pause puberty in a healthy child. Yeah, your dad took it because he had cancer. That should tell you everything too. They give it to cancer patients. Let me read this. I went through EOP from a head injury when 4. I fished puberty when I finished when I was 10. As male, it wasn't that devastating physically. Alas, I knew I had a similar EOP at 6. It destroyed her. What's EOP? I'm sorry, furry kitten. I don't know what EOP is. They use puberty blockers for many things. Okay, but they're calling it puberty blockers. That's not what they are. Now they're made. There is a thing called wait, what's it called when you have puberty, when you have puberty too early onset puberty? There's a name for it. Precocious puberty. That's real. And they have been giving medication to children who have precocious puberty. Do you all understand what precocious puberty is? It's early onset puberty. That's not pausing puberty. That's slowing it down so that the child can catch up to the rest of their peers. That's not pausing it. Now, when you take it and you add that to a child who is actually having a perfect puberty, completely healthy, they're only saying they're trans, but that has nothing to do with puberty. That has to do with mental health. It's here. Trans is here. It's not here. So now they're giving medication to pause puberty. You cannot pause it. You have now disrupted it. You see the difference? There's a disruption of a normal thing. Alicia, our young trans friend, hey, Buck, but I'm still happy that I still look like a 15-year-old kid with a female looking jawline and a chin. I mean, if any other people here were to look at me, they would probably, oh my God, you're so cute. We probably would. So be happy, Alicia. You know, like that's excellent. Be happy because there's only so much time on this earth. And I'm telling you that as a 61-year-old. And I've lived many lives and I do not regret anything I've done. And I've done some gnarly stuff, let me tell you. But I had to do that stuff in order to get to the space I'm in today. I wasn't a good person back in the day. Before I transitioned, I was a mess and I did lots of bad things. And I did end up in jail. And I did end up like just homeless. I don't know if you all know that. I was actually homeless. I don't know if you know that I actually was a drug addict on the street. I lived on the streets. I survived doing certain things that are not great, but when you live on the street, you find a means and a way to survive. So I want to let you know that that's not just relegated to trans women. We only ever talk about trans women being marginalized or trans women being, put in these positions to take these kinds of jobs. Trans men have been put in those situations as well. We just never talk about it because the whole trans movement, not sure if you all notice, is pretty much about trans women. Have you all noticed that? Do you see a lot of trans guys speaking up about things? Not very many. I mean, there's some YouTube dudes who have millions of followers, but they have a different way of being. And they're all on board with the trans women are women nonsense. Trans women are always shaming. And trans women, let me say something. We all know about biology. We all acknowledge biology. Trans women are biological male. They were born male. It's the reason they are trans. And they transition to live and look like a woman. They are not a woman. They are a trans woman. I don't understand how we've gotten here. Hence, indoctrinated into stupidity. I'm not saying something that isn't true. Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you, friend MJ. Appreciate that. I'm not going to repeat something that isn't true. That's called indoctrination. Do all of you know what indoctrination is? I'm pretty much sure you know what that is. It's when you are told things and then you become sort of obedient to those things, hence cults. Some religions can indoctrinate you. You can be indoctrinated into a thought process. Hey, friend, thanks for showing up. You can. Indoctrination is scary. It is sending people into a message or a space that is not necessarily true. And I believe we are being indoctrinated into stupidity when every person is actually repeating a mantra. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Men can get pregnant. Trans women can have a period. Uterus havers, period people get pregnant. What? That's indoctrination. You're right, Bill. Bill says stupid people are easier to 100%. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say things that I know are false and are not reality. So that is why I believe we are acting stupid, because I know you all know what I know. And what you and I know is biology is a fact. Probably all the people in this room, 90%, 99% of you are all biological male and female, as I am. So when we start to say trans women are women, what does that even mean? What does that mean to you? Because I know what that means to me. You're lying. You're lying. In order to do what? And when you have to start lying about your own identity, what does that say about you? And what does that say about a movement? It says we are indoctrinating people to think away so that those people who are doing the indoctrination are validated by a bunch of people who are just going along with it instead of saying, but wait a minute here. Trans is biology based. Thank you, friend. Thank you, Torin. I'm F to M, right on. And I joined a men's softball league, right on. It was fun, but I bombed hard. But the fact that you acknowledge it, I love you, brother. That's awesome. And the fact that you went out and played with these guys, you know, guys don't feel threatened by us, and they shouldn't be, because biology is a real thing. Not to say that you can't compete against them and maybe even high ranking, because that's actually real too. But that being said, the biology is real. He just said it right there. And we can play in sports with other people as long as they're okay with it. You can't just override what other people think. That's not cool. You can't do that. Hey, Cecilia, thank you. Erasing everything that a woman, that is woman. It's insidious. It is. And it's indoctrination. And I will not be a part of that. I'm a biological female who fought for women's rights. I still do. But as a woman, I did that. As a woman, I belong to so many spaces that we're helping to fight to get women into spaces that they're in today. And then we're just going to like say like this 6 foot tall, 210 pound trans woman is going to come in and just literally slaughter women. And everyone's just like, okay, I'll just have my tea. Why, that was weird, but no one's saying anything. So I'm starting to do these sort of like reaction things because I'm fed up. I tried so long not to do reaction videos. I really did. Please, please know that. I really did. I tried forever not to do these reaction videos. But I did, Seth and I did put something on and we asked you, would you like to see more reactions? And you all pretty much 80-something% were like, yes. But I think they're important. And why do I kind of think they're important? Because I get to actually say what I need to say while you see this. I know you all know what's coming up next. You like my side eye. Thanks, Chris. I know I can't help myself. I just can't. Some of the stuff I'm seeing. So here's what I'm going to say to you all. I'm going to do this little reaction to this because I think we should, because it's part of the indoctrination that I see out there. This one is huge. This woman, this trans woman is such a gaslighter. She is such a gaslighter, and she is so manipulative with her words. And here's where I want you to see the indoctrination. And the fact, oh, thanks. Yeah, I got my teeth. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. Remember when I didn't have teeth? That was so embarrassing. But you know what? Whatever. I don't care. It's part of being old, I guess, and losing your teeth. But yeah, I got my new teeth and I'm very excited about them. So here, let me bring this up. I was watching a conference and they said at least 40 to 50% of the queer community are in the schools. I know. I don't agree with that either. I don't think we need to be teaching queer theory in high school or to a lot of these young people, but that's just my opinion. Doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm entitled to that. So let's bring this up. I know you've all seen it. Let's bring
and
this
are
up.
really female or not.
Hold on. I'm going to go back. Y'all know this one. This one makes me very mad. This trans woman is a hardcore gaslighter. And this I'm not sure if you all heard it yet. Well, I just made a short on it because I just can't take it. These are the kind of reaction videos. I cannot take these people lying straight through their teeth on a major show like Trevor Noah or whatever. and just act. And then when you hear the audience, some people in the audience clap, it's insane. That's the indoctrination of stupidity that I'm talking about. She is so annoying, but let's just do this. Okay, here, watch this.
This issue, people like to say that it's a complicated issue, and I don't actually think it is. I think it's very simple. It all boils down to, do you actually...
She started right out the gate, gaslighting. You see, that's gaslighting. When she said, everyone thinks it's a complicated issue, but it's not really. So that's gaslighting. That's trying to make you think that how you're thinking is wrong. Nope. It's a complicated issue, 100%, and your thought process is right.
Think that trans women and intersex women are real women
What?
and are really female.
First, I'm going to stop it because she literally goes out the gate. It's not complicated. Yes, it is. Then she says, women, trans women and intersex. Trans women and intersex. Listen to that. That is not the same thing. How dare she actually add intersex people in that category? Because they're not the same thing. And my intersex friends would be very pissed off about this. Stop putting intersex people with trans people. They're two different things. You, my friend Veronica, are a biological male. You're not intersexed. You're not a woman. You are a biological male. Oh, okay. Here it comes.
Or not. And if you do, it's very simple. Just stop policing who counts as a real woman. Because this has had history of racism built into it over the years. It's not an accident that the intersex athletes who get singled out are women of color from the global south.
Okay, I gotta stop it there. How many intersexed athletes from the global south do you think there are? Is there a list of them? Could someone throw the list up here? I want to know how many intersexed athletes. One. We all know who that person is. I think you pronounce the name Castor Simmons. I think her last name is Simone. One. Did you hear what she just said? That's gaslighting. That's making you believe what she's saying is true. And everything since how many minutes in is this? Not even. Okay, there's two maybe. Okay, thank you. Two. Doesn't it make it feel as if she's trying to act like there's a long list of them? A long list. Where's the list, lady? Here we go.
Because who gets singled out for scrutiny is based on white women's conceptions of femininity. And that's being weaponized against trans people too. So it's a fear of protecting the fragile, weak, cis white woman from the rest of us.
Hear the clapping? Did you hear the clapping? That's all her indoctrinated followers who came to the show. The whole audience isn't clapping, just her indoctrinated, stupid followers. And she just said the most insane thing ever. She actually went after white women. Somebody who actually wants to be a white woman. You see the hypocrisy in that? She wants to be a white woman, but she's turning around and punching white women in the face, calling them racist, calling them fragile. No, sorry, friend, Veronica. They're not. Yeah, Castor Simonia. Thank you. That's right. That's the only one I know. She's actually so jealous of women. That's jealousy. I can see it oozing out of her. What does racism have to do with this conversation?
There are many elements to what you said, which I appreciate. So let's try to break them down.
Yeah, let's try breaking them down,
One thing
dude.
that confuses me personally is it seems like we have discussions about who should participate in which category and how.
Dude,
you know,
dude, men and women are physically different. Don't try to pretend like they're not. They're 100. Look at her. Look at Veronica. She's a big lady. She will bust your chops. She'll probably bust his chops. Like, what are we talking about here?
on the face of it, it seems simple as you say. You know, if somebody identifies as a woman, if they're transgender, they can compete against women who are born
No,
biologically, and
it's not
and then
simple.
if not, then not. But then
No.
there are many who would argue who are not transphobes. There are many who born biologically women who will say, but you have an unnatural advantage over me, and that makes the sport unfair. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can respond to that.
Yeah.
So the first is,
oh, smug, just smug. Wouldn't you all like to see me sitting next to Veronica? I would have given anything to sit in the chair next to her, and I would have destroyed her. But no, here we are on a show, and she, Veronica, gets to spew all this indoctrination language, gaslighting language. So let's see how she's going to simply propose that a biological male can compete with a biological female, and it's fair. Let's just see.
the very language of you were born and I'm not biological somehow, like I don't think I'm a cyborg. So like this idea that like, oh, you're not a biological woman. Well, I am a woman, that's a fact. I am female, so all my identity records, my racing license, my medical records all say female.
Just so you all know, all of my medical records, all of my ID, everything I walk the world says male. That does not make me male. It makes my appearance male. I am not a biological male. She's completely 100% lying right through her teeth. And everyone's just sitting here, not saying anything. You know what I would have done at that moment right there? I said, excuse me, I need to interrupt you for one moment. You're not a female. You are a trans woman, which is a biological male. I would have said it. Bam. So let's continue on with her gaslighting.
Right? And I'm pretty sure I made a biological stuff. So I'm
Biological stuff, because she can't say it.
a biological female as well. So this question of
Wait, she actually said she was a biological female. She actually said it.
do trans women have an advantage over cis women? We don't know. In fact, there's basically no published research on this question. However,
really,
there's good reason to think that there isn't. But I think it's irrelevant because we allow all kinds of competitive advantages within women's sport.
Oh my God, you guys, I don't know if I can listen to any more of this. You know what? The gaslighting is unbelievable. Spinning, just spinning and making stuff up as they speak about, we don't have any evidence. Yes, we do. It's why we have a male and female categories. That's all the evidence you need. And we haven't had trans women in women's sports. That's all the evidence you need. It's word salad. You said it, Chris. It's, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I'm tired of. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of no one standing up to it. I'm tired of only a very few people like Blair White and Marcus and a couple others just standing up against this, saying, hey, wait a minute, man, this isn't right. That is wrong. It is wrong that we're letting people say stuff like this. It is wrong for a person like myself to see this, because it is actually taking away my experience. When a trans person says lies like this, it is actually attacking me. And it's making me uncomfortable to even talk about trans stuff, because this person is lying about what it is to be a trans person. And that is why I'm telling you, this community is not inclusive. This community doesn't care about representation, except for the representation they want, but not the representation that should be diverse and inclusive. And when we let trans women like this go on shows and spew this nonsense and nobody pushes back because people are too scared to say anything, how do you think that's actually helping trans people? Yeah, Trevor sat there and let that Veronica spew lies when Trevor knows, because Trevor's not an idiot. He knows, we know, the whole world knows that that person is totally lying. And here we are today. My channel gets shadow banned. I get kicked off of social media. I get kicked off of panels. I'm not allowed to say anything. Why would that happen? Because there's an indoctrination happening. And I will not be indoctrinated into anything. That is not how I live my life. It's never how I live my life. I've always been honest. I believe in honesty. Honesty gets you everything. You know, when I was a kid, I was like, maybe, I don't remember. Maybe I was like between 10 and 12, something like that. And, you know, I was mischievous like all kids are. And I remember that we went down to this, we used to call it the nickel and dime. I'm totally dating myself. We called it the nickel and dime store, right? And it had all these little penny candies. You could get candies for a penny. And it was this cool, like old school thing with all these candies in it. And I remember I didn't have any money. And I stole the candy. I did. I stole the candy. And with my sister. And in fact, I think I threw my sister under the bus. I made my sister put the candy in her bag. That's how smart I was. But my younger sister. So when we got back, oh, thank you, Melissa. Wait, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. The ideology is a weapon against TS and intersex individuals. How she kept mentioning intersexed with trans was so pathetic, number one, because they're not the same thing. And then when she started saying athletes, plural, as if there's tons of intersex athletes out there, which we know there's not, again, gaslighting. So here I am. I'm telling my sister, take the candy, right? Put it in, and thank you, Melissa, and put it there, and then we'll go. And so anyway, we get home. Honestly, I can't remember if my sister broke down. Somehow my mom found out that we stole the candy. I think my sister broke down and started crying or something. Or my mom asked, where'd you get all that candy from? And then my sister broke down and she was like, we took it. And I'm like, oh, you totally did that. So guess what my mom did? My mom marched us back down to the nickel and dime shop. How embarrassing. And told us to give the candy back. And we had to go to the store and say to the owner, we stole this candy. We are sorry. And we're going to give it back. Do you know what that did to me? You know what that I was like, you know what that did to me? Fucked me up. Why did it fuck me up? Because I had to be humiliated. Talk about humiliation. Oh my God. Completely freaked out, sweating, embarrassed. I don't think I went back to that nickel and dime shop. Sorry, I'm choking. I don't think I went back to that nickel and dime shop. Probably a year, I would say. I never went back in there. I was so embarrassed, humiliated. I was grounded for like a month. Guess what? I never stole again. I never, ever, ever stole again until I got older. And that's another story I'll tell you about. But my mom did the right thing. My mom made me own up to something that was wrong and be humiliated and feel like crap, because that's the right thing to do. So here we are letting people say things. And the reason I told you that story is because I want to tell you that that was an important lesson that I learned. You can't just take things. They're not yours. Unless you have the money to buy it, leave it alone. So I'm sort of equating this story. Thank you, Xander. Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Shame is a powerful tool. We need to bring it back 100%. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting to right now. So instead of us saying something to Veronica, who is blatantly lying about what it means to be a woman, what a woman is, what it means to be female, what it is to be biologically male or female, just lying about it all. Instead of us saying, hey, wait a minute, lady, and I'm being respectful and calling her lady. I am. I'm that's just how I'm gonna be. She's a trans woman, and I know she uses, I think she, and I'm just gonna do that because it's just how I feel. Adding intersex helps them increase their numbers against us. That's right. That's actually right, Marianne. You're totally right. They're trying to, power in numbers. So getting back to that story and why I'm relating it to what's going on with Veronica is that nobody's pushing against Veronica. Nobody's telling Veronica you're wrong. You're actually lying. So when you don't push or you don't expose people or you don't tell people that you can't steal and cheat and lie, what are they going to do? They're going to continue to still steal, cheat, and lie because nobody is holding them accountable. My mother held me accountable, which is everything that a parent should do. When your child does something out of control, you have to hold them accountable. It's called a lesson. Life lessons count for something. So here's Veronica sitting on a huge platform with millions of people watching, and everyone's just like sitting there like, oh, yes, trans women are women. They play with women. It's not a problem. Not at all. That's indoctrination. Because those people know damn well that what she's saying is a blatant, total lie. And there she is, not being held accountable. So me, as a transsexual man, is holding her accountable. So if you, by any chance, see any of this, Veronica, I'm going to leave you with this. You're a liar. You're insecure. You are actually destroying trans rights because you are not being honest about what it is to be a trans person. And trans people do exist because I'm sitting right here. But what we have always done is to be honest about who and what we are, and everyone loves us. But you, Veronica, are being disingenuous, you are lying, you are stealing, and you are cheating. So if I was your dad, I would march your ass right down to the store and make you return all of those words that you stole from the English language and decided to use for your own profit, not for the good of a so-called community that you are supposed to be a part of. And that's what I'm going to leave you all with today. I'm tired of it, and not in a bad way, in a good way. I'm tired of the lies and the cheating and the stealing and this idea that biology isn't real, and this idea if you say anything to a trans person, you're transphobic, but yet they can say all kinds of things to you. I'm not part of that. I never will be a part of it. And I'm a trans person, and I will always be a trans person, and I have every right to push back against indoctrination and the hijacking of a community that helped me move forward in my life, and a hijacking of language and women's spaces. If you as a trans woman are so insecure about who and what you are, sit down, get to some therapy, work on what's going on inside of you, but stop trying to steal from everybody else in order to make yourself look like you are better than, because you're not better than. And I'll guarantee you this, if you coexisted with people, they would like you better. And they would probably invite you to more spaces. And they would invite you to be included if you included them. It's a real thing. Bye, everybody. I always appreciate you so much joining me. And I appreciate you listening to my opinions about what is happening here, and that seeing that people have lost their minds and the stupidity is out of control. And you're not stupid. Not one of you people here is stupid. And I know that about you. So why are we acting stupid, including me? I didn't speak up for a long time. Why are we acting stupid? Why are we letting people tell us how to think? Why do we, as people who know damn well reality, letting people skew our reality? What are we afraid of? Sit with yourself today and think to yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? The truth matters. In all of this, the truth matters. It matters for trans people. It matters for biological people. It matters for men, women, children, all of us. And if we get pushed into a space of believing all of these lies, we're lost. Are we going to be able to come back? That's the scary part. Are we going to be able to reel it back in? Or is it so far out there that we're never going to get it back? Those are the things you got to think of. Sometimes it's worth getting punched in the face. For the future of your children, for the future of your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, your mother, it's worth getting punched in the face. And it's why I don't care that these people punch me in the face. I do not care. I do not care. I am able to walk through that. And I want to encourage you all to just dip your toe in it, somehow push back, whatever that means for you, push back. Because the more of us who start pushing back against this, the more we'll come back to a reality-based society. But now we're on a slippery slope. So have a beautiful day. I'm going to ask all of you to like this, to make comments, because it really helps this thing go up. And somehow something's going on with my channel. And I'm not sure if I'm just getting a ton of the trans rights activists reporting me, which is probably the case. But if you really value what I do here, and I know that you do, I would appreciate you helping me get my numbers back up and get this being seen to more and more people, because that's how me and you together, I care about you. I care about everybody. I'm not a trans activist. I'm a person who believes in everyone's right to live on this earth in peace, as long as you're not messing with other people's peace. I'm a freedom of speech advocate. And that means that you could say whatever you need to say to me, whether it's mean, nasty, or loving and beautiful. Freedom of speech means both sides of the coin, not just one. So if you are a free speech activist, as I am, you have to be prepared to have people say mean things back to you. And that's okay. That's free speech. Have a beautiful day. Love yourself. Love the people who are in your life. Spread love, spread reality, spread happiness. And with that, I'll see you guys all next week, and I have a new interview coming up. So thank you all for really just hanging out with me and giving me the time to do all the things that I think hopefully are making change in this world. Okay.